Good day. Boys and girls, today we are going to look at exponents. And it's very important that you have a basic understanding and knowledge with regards to exponents. Let me explain it like this. If you have a square, what is the area of the square? Do you agree that the area is length times width? Let's write it down. So area equals length times width. But what do you know about a square? What about the sides? They are the same length. So do you agree that width is also the same as the length? Yes. So we can write this as length times length. You agree? And length times length, I can also say is length squared, with a little 2 there, meaning that is two-dimensional. Now, if we have another square, let's say we have a big square, and that square consists of 9 little squares. Okay, so now I have my big square, and we have that the length of a side will be 3, and the width of a side will also be 3. So the area will be 3 times 3, and 3 times 3 is also the same as 3 squared. And 3 squared has an answer of 9. Now, boys and girls, if you look at the big square that I drew here, you can actually go and count the little squares. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have a big square that consists of 9 little squares, and the length of a side will be 3. Now let's say I have a unit there. I make it 3 centimeters and centimeters. Then my area will be 3 centimeters times 3 centimeters. And what is the answer? 3 times 3 is 9, but centimeter times centimeter will be centimeter squared, or squared centimeter. It's very important that you have that little 2 there, because it indicates that it was little squares. Okay, now, if I have the following, I'm writing it a bit bigger for you to make sure that you understand. How will we read this? We can read this by saying 2 to the power of 3, or we can say 2 cubed. And that 3 represents the exponents. That's the exponents. Or I can say the index. The 2 is the base. It's all about the base. The 2 is the base. And the whole thing, 2 to the power of 3, or 2 cubed, we call the power. So, if I need to determine what's the value of 2 cubed, how can I go about? How can I write it? Let's see. 2 cubed will be the same as, remember, have a look here, we had length times length, and then we said it's length squared with a little 2, because we had 2 lengths there. And now, if I'm giving you 2 cubed, 2 to the power of 3, it will be 2 times 2 times 2. And what is 2 times 2 times 2? Please don't tell me it is 6. Have a look. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Boys and girls, you cannot tell me that this is 6. Because, listen, you never ever multiply those 2 together. Okay, but we'll discuss that when we are talking about the laws of exponents. Right, so we have that 2 to the power of 3 will be an answer of 8. Now, let's say I'm giving you a square, a big square, and there is a total of 25 little squares. There's a total of 25 little squares. And my question is, what is the length of a side? Think of the picture. See if you can see it in your head. Maybe draw it. If I have a big square consisting of 25 little squares, what's the length of one side? Yes, it is 5. Now, boys and girls, what did we do? There's actually a sign for this, a symbol that we use for this. If I'm telling you that you have a big square, it consists of 25 little squares, what is the length of a side? We can only write the square root symbol. And I'm sure that you have seen that previously. Well, it's on your calculators as well. But that is what it means. If I am giving you the square root of 25, what am I asking? I'm asking you to determine the length of a side if I have a big square consisting of 25 little squares. Just one thing. There's actually a hidden 2 there that we don't write. And that hidden 2 means I need to multiply 2 things that's the same value. Okay, so that means 2 things that's the same value that I've been multiplied to get an answer of 25. We can also write this mathematically. We can say it's a square root. And what do I know about 25? 5 times 5. 5 times 5. And now, what do I know if I have the same value being multiplied with itself? I can write it as a little square. So I can say the square root of 5 squared. And what now? A square and a square root are opposite operations, and they cancel one another out. So the square root of 25 will be 5. Let's have a look at the next one. Square root of 36. Yes, I know some of you know it already. What times what is 36, you might say? Or you can think of the picture. I have a big square. It consists of 36 little squares. So what's the length of a side? 6. And boys and girls, that's why it's so important that you know your multiplication times tables. Otherwise, you will not be able to give me the answer so quickly. Okay, I have a challenge for you. How about the following? I'm asking you the cube root of 8. What does it mean? Can you see a picture? If I'm asking you the cube root of 8, it means that I am now in 3 dimensions. I have length, width, and height. So I have a 3-dimensional thing. And actually, because the sides are the same length, I'm talking about a cube. And this big cube consists of 8 little cubes. Let's try to draw that. In total, I need to have 8 little cubes. And you can even go and do it at home. Take some cubes or dice and put it onto one another to build this bigger cube. You will see that you would need 8 cubes to build that. But my question is, if I'm asking you the cube root of 8, I want to know what times what times what. 3 things is 8. All think about it. I have a big cube, consists of 8 little cubes. So what is the length of a side? 2. You can see it in the drawing. In other words, the cube root of 8 will be 2. Okay, let me see what you can do with the following. I have the square root of 64 and the cube root of 64. Is it a writing error? No, no. So I want you to determine what is the square root of 64. What times what is 64? 8. And in the other case, the cube root of 64, what times what times what is 64? 4. Okay, boys and girls, again, make sure you know your times tables. Otherwise, you will not be able to do this as quickly. Last question. I have a challenge for you. I want to know what is the square root of 900. The square root of 900. Oh, and now you might say, where's my calculator? I would like to work it out. No. Don't grab your calculator too fast. Think a bit. 900. Can I maybe multiply? Well, I want the square root, so it must be the same value. But let's do this a bit differently. I want to first know, can we get maybe 2 values that I multiply to get 900? How about 9 times 100? Yes, I can multiply that to give me an answer of 900. Let's write it down. And it's still underneath the square root. So I have 9 times 100. And what now? Now you can also say that I have a square root 9 times the square root of 100. And can you determine the square root of 9? Yes, it's 3. Can you determine the square root of 100? It's 10. And I will have an answer of 30. Boys and girls, I do hope that you understand now the basic things about exponents and how to write it and what it means. Until next time, goodbye.